Day 47 of 100 Days to $500,000 Challenge. The source material opens with this intense, honestly, kind of terrifying realization from the creator. They say, "Today I realized something dangerous. Not failure, not lack of money. The real danger is feeling like you're making no progress at all." Welcome to This Explainer, guys. Today we're diving straight into the invisible middle, surviving the creator grind.
Think about that for a second. The real danger is feeling like you're making no progress at all. Because, the biggest threat to your long-term success isn't actually a lack of talent. It's not running out of money either. It's the crushing psychological weight of this exact phase, what we're calling the invisible middle. It's that long, absolutely exhausting stretch where you're putting in maximum effort, grinding every single day, but getting zero visible feedback.
And naturally, that leads to one haunting question. Am I wasting my time? You wake up, you check your channel, and nothing. The numbers are still tiny, there's no flood of new subscribers, no viral hit, no sudden massive success. It's just another normal day. To really grasp this everyday creator struggle, we're going to look at some extreme, high-stakes isolation challenges from our sources. We'll see exactly how the human mind starts playing tricks on you when progress just goes totally dark. So let's break down the anatomy of a 100-day journey. Day 1, excitement. You are running on pure adrenaline. You've got the vision, but right there in the middle, around day 47, lies the danger zone, the invisible middle. This is where most people quit. And it's not because they can't succeed. It's just because they can't see the progress happening. Take the YouTuber Ryan Trahan, for example. Our sources detail his wild challenge to spend 100 days entirely inside the metaverse. And wouldn't you know it, by day 47, the exact midpoint of the challenge, the novelty had completely worn off. He was just wandering these digital deserts, staring at virtual fast food that he obviously couldn't eat, feeling incredibly isolated, and genuinely wondering if any of this even mattered anymore. The mental toll he went through is practically textbook. Losing track of time, overthinking every single minor detail, feeling totally stagnant, and just having this intense desperation for a real human connection. Honestly, Ryan's psychological symptoms in virtual reality, they mirror exactly what aspiring creators and entrepreneurs feel when they're grinding away in their bedrooms, just trying to build a business in the dark. We see this exact same mental decay in another extreme experiment detailed in the sources. Mr. Beast trapped two strangers, Susie and Bailey, in a bright white cube for 100 days. And Susie's realization captures the sheer breakdown of that middle phase perfectly. She said, "I'm staring at a blinding white wall, and I honestly think I'm losing my mind." And what's totally wild about this is that there was a $500,000 prize waiting for them on the outside. $500,000. But the crushing boredom of those middle days was so intense, the money almost stopped mattering. I mean, by just day 4, they were so desperate for any kind of stimulation that they ripped up their own journal paper just to make a makeshift deck of playing cards. That, right there, is the harsh reality of the invisible middle. Now, the contrast here is staggering. As creators, we so desperately want to see the visible metrics, right? The subscribers, the views, the revenue. But what's actually happening during that invisible middle is deeply internal. You are building resilience, you're building skills, you are building ironclad discipline. You just can't track that stuff on a dashboard. To break out of this cycle, entrepreneur Mark Tilbury outlines a simple 3-step framework for building a $10,000 a month business. Step 1, consume knowledge. Step 2, apply it. And step 3, educate others. Sounds pretty straightforward, right? But the absolute hardest part of this entire process is surviving step 2. Because that apply phase, that is exactly where the invisible middle lives. It is the grueling process of testing your skills in the real world, failing repeatedly, and pushing forward before you ever reach expert status. You're putting in hours and hours of work, learning to code, edit, sell, whatever it is, without seeing any immediate financial reward. This is where the doubt really starts to creep in. But as Tilbury points out, if you're in this phase, you are in incredibly good company. Think about it. J.K. Rowling was rejected 12 times before Harry Potter got picked up. Beyoncé recorded hundreds of songs that no one will ever hear. Mark Zuckerberg built totally failed projects before Facebook took off. Massive success doesn't just happen. It actually requires an extended period of failing in the dark. It's literally a prerequisite. To survive this phase, you really have to adopt a whole new mindset. The greatest successes come from having the freedom to fail. You have to give yourself permission to mess up. You've got to treat every zero-view video, every lost client, every terrible piece of code not as a massive defeat, but as necessary skill acquisition.
Let's zoom out for a second and look at the path you've chosen. The traditional route, school to a 9 to 5, gives you instant gratification and a steady paycheck, sure, but it caps out on average around 63 grand a year. The creator route, on the other hand, it requires navigating this rocky, super unpredictable, invisible middle. The payoff is heavily delayed, but it is infinitely scalable, and ultimately, it offers true freedom.
But hey, here is the trap. The hardest part of the middle isn't actually the grueling work itself. Believe it or not, it's the constant, nagging temptation of comfort. It's that little voice in your head telling you to buy your way back to safety, to take the easy out and just quit while you're ahead.
Mr. Beast actively used this exact temptation against Susie and Bailey in that white room. He engaged in full-blown psychological warfare, randomly offering them incredible comforts. We're talking a private chef for the rest of the challenge, or smart beds so they could finally escape those awful blinding lights. But the catch? It would cost them $50,000 out of their prize pool. He was testing their resolve, literally begging them to sacrifice their long-term goal for a fleeting moment of short-term comfort. Which leads us to the ultimate psychological test on day 100. Mr. Beast gave them a massive choice. Hit split and share the remaining money, or hit steal and try to take it all for yourself. But if they both hit steal, they'd leave with absolutely nothing. This is the ultimate culmination of the invisible middle. Do you succumb to the paranoia, or do you trust the foundation you literally just spent 100 days building?
The truth is, progress is so often completely invisible right up until the moment it becomes obvious. Think of it like a tree growing roots underground. A tree spends years growing these deep, complex root systems in the pitch-black dirt before anyone ever notices a single green sprout above ground. Success works the exact same way. Maybe every single video you post, every harsh lesson you learn from failing, every late night you spend editing with a cold cup of coffee, maybe it's all building something you just can't see yet. It is actively compounding into a massive root system that is eventually going to support undeniable growth.
Because eventually, those 100 days do end. The survival actually pays off. Ryan Trahan, he pushed through his invisible middle. He made it to day 100, finally took off that heavy VR headset, stepped back into the real world, and met his virtual best friend, Clay, face to face. Their connection survived the total isolation.
And Susie and Bailey, well, they passed the ultimate test. They both chose to split it. They trusted each other, they trusted the absolutely brutal journey they had just endured together, and they walked away with $250,000 each. They survived the blinding white room. So today, I want you to make a decision right now. Stop judging your journey by today's numbers. Stop obsessing over finding instant viral success. Stop checking your daily subscriber count. And stop letting a lack of immediate revenue convince you to throw in the towel. Instead, judge it entirely by whether you showed up. Because honestly, that is the only metric that truly matters in this phase. Did you put in the work today? Did you add another root to your foundation? As the creator from our source material put it perfectly, today, I showed up again. Day 47 completed. The road to 500,000 continues. You've got to remember this. Progress is often invisible before it becomes obvious. The silent grind, those days where you feel completely alone and totally stagnant, those are exactly the days that are preparing you for a sudden, undeniable bloom. So, I'll leave you with this final thought to chew on. What invisible roots are you growing today? Keep building that foundation, trust the grueling process of the invisible middle, and get ready to wake up and face day 48. You've got this.